Good afternoon, Sam Tolbert, Sound of Joy. Make yourself comfortable. Sound of Joy Music Services, and we are back with a continuation of our 10 things a church pianist should practice. Welcome, Eric. Always good to have you come in and catch me on a live. We're on the weekend, which means a lot more of our viewers may be available. Want to welcome those who are watching from simulcast to the Facebook page, where I have quite a few um, Facebook friends who are also musicians. We're always looking to support musicians wherever I can find them. If you haven't been keeping up, you'll see an image there of the two ebooks put together by me to assist musicians. Here they are here. The Beginner's Guide to Playing Hymns for brand new musicians. Over 23 hymns in the key of C in its basic function, basically the lyrics and the chording, but the type of chording that would support a service, along with information in it with different chord charts, scale charts, proper fingering, a very comprehensive book for the beginner musician, and the one which we just completed yesterday, the gospel piano chord progressions. In that book, we try to give you as many chord progressions commonly used in gospel music today. And I went back to the 70s, got a whole section of the common chord progressions in the 70s. And then we broke down our chords that we use as we begin to navigate the language uh, of the number system. So we gave you our version of 2-5-1 chords and the 1-7-3-6 chords, and we put them in congregational friendly keys along with some more chord charts. And again, we packed that book with a lot of information to help and assist musicians begin to build their own reference library which of current music. So that's what's in those books. Wanted to advertise them here, and they are available for download on our online store. You can download it directly into your computers from the online store, and I made it a very reasonable price. Again, I'm looking out for the church musician. Very reasonable price of only $5 for each book, and I packed it with information. Packed it. Well, where are we up to? We finished the scales and arpeggios, chord progressions, uh, and the hymn playing on our last live. So now we're going to sort of skip through, I think, sight reading, because I don't know the skill level of this generation of musicians. I, as an instrumentalist, learned how to read single notes for an instrument. So when I got to uh, was presented with the actual hymn book environment, I could see the notes and then I knew where to go find them on the keyboard. But today's musician now may not be go up through that journey as I did as a young musician, getting indoctrinated into sheet music reading. I may touch on it just a little bit. Let's see, what can I bring up as an example? Give me a moment, because I do create my own sheet music, and I have created sheet music for some clients. Let's see if I can bring up one of the client projects just to give you an idea. Let's see, tutorials. Nope. I know it's in here. Just gotta go find it. Okay. I did do I Shall Wear a Crown, the Thomas Woodfield, for my Patreon. The Patreon page, Patreon membership is another site where you can support me monthly, and with part of that Patreon membership, you get both of these books free of charge, along with tons of audio files from actual instrumental productions I've done. You get PDF files. You get lessons that YouTube will never see, full lessons where I actually use the actual music. And I see where I did I shall wear a crown. Let me see where I put the, where did I put the actual lesson for that? Here we go, scores. There they go. Let's see if I'll pull up that one. Got Looking for a Miracle in there. These are the sheet music that we can sort of use as a sample for this conversation today. Welcome to those who are coming in and those who are live with us now who haven't let me know who you are. That's okay. Okay, I don't see. Let's pull up Looking for a Miracle. That's a Clark Sister song. It's kind of got some nice chords in it. Yes, that'll be a good one to look at. All right. So I brought that one up, and I will bring that up as part of the sight reading session. In fact, let me pull that into where we are right now, because when you're learning to sight read, you don't have electronics guiding you throughout. Let me just capture the window. So for the sight reading part of this conversation, we're going to pull up a transcription I did for a client of Looking for a Miracle, Clark Sisters. Let's clean this up because you know I like to see things in order. And let's put that behind the piano. There we go. You know me, I like to have order. There we go. Doesn't look sloppy now. So this would be an actual sight reading exercise. Hey, welcome, Louis. Glad to have you. So for those who have never taken sheet music before, let me increase that. I'm monitoring also, so I need to make sure that everything looks good on the production. Let's put this ad in the back. There we go. So I can extend this out. This would be the example of sight reading, where, as you can see, there are 4 flats. Now, if you practice your scales, you will find out that the only key that contains 4 flats is A flat. One. Okay, this has happened before, where my software will stop talking. There we go. Welcome, Sub-Zero. So, if you were taking sight reading 101, A flat. That's your scale generically, but now when you're looking at the sheet music is going to give you the range. So that is the range of the sheet music. Now this is just what we call the actual treble clef, which is the easiest clef to read. It'll be the right hand basically. So if this would be if though you were a singer and you were given a lead sheet, this is how it would look. Let me just, you know, I'm a little bit, I like clean ends. So looking at the lyrics, and for those who are familiar with the Clark Sisters, I'm Looking for a Miracle, you'll know it's starting in the C. I'm looking for a miracle. So each note is assigned a note, and that note has a particular duration. Sight reading says, let me look at the measures in the notes that are in front of me, and can I interpret in the frame of that measure, 4/4 timing, how many notes does it take before the measure ends? And the measure, how can I do this? Gee, I'm not locked in that way where I can pull up my iPad and mark it off, which is very important. So I'll just do it this way. Looking at the notes, you can see that the lyrics are tied to the black notes on a staff of lines in the key of A flat. You'll have to go through basic um, staffs with sheet music notes to be able to associate where all of these notes are located. I want to see, do I have my, I'll have to bring that up. I have a workbook that does give you that information, and that workbook is free. If you join the Patreon site, the free version of the Patreon site, you get this workbook for free. So I'm going to bring up another window so that we can match up these notes with what we're looking at. Because we're talking about sight reading. Where are you? There you go. So now we're going to make me, well, okay. We got a lot here. Am I going to have to disappear? Okay, I will disappear. So we can just look at this first part. There we go. I can be in the corner right there. So this workbook that I created is for brand new musicians to learn about music. And in there we have this. This is where you will learn the basics, Piano 101. And I think this will give us a good image of it. Okay, there we go. So you would match up these lines with the sheet music and find the notes. C, B flat, A flat. I told you I get a little paranoid if I got things looking messed up. Okay, better. Sight reading 101. Do you want to learn all the chords? No. You want to be able to interpret single notes, because that's what you're going to look at in the hymnal, and then you'll be able to apply chords to it. Next line, 5. Where's the next line at? Should be right there. Okay. I got to disappear, don't I? All right. You'll hear me talk. So from the first line, I'm looking for a miracle. 3, 4, rest. I expect the impossible. Line 5, I feel the intangible. 3, 4, line, I see the invisible. Now what you don't see is the lower notes, because we went down. So where's the highest note? Is there. Okay, we'll move this over to here. There we go. That's a better range. So this is what sight reading does for you. It gives you the ability to look at pre-written music and be able to decipher what are you looking at in front of you. This is part of what every church pianist, because I think we sort of limit piano players to just playing shouting music and playing praise and worship chords. Let me get rid of this. And let me put it in a very personal nature. Churches hamstring church hamstring musicians by telling them you can only play this. If you play something else, then you're not worthy to be offering your gifts up in the quote unquote sanctuary. Yes, I used to believe that until I brought in a style of music that was different than what everyone else was doing. All of a sudden, it was acceptable to hear the jazz chords, to hear the Hawkins contemporary chords, to hear the rhythmic chords that were in all of the emerging contemporary song albums. All of a sudden, the rules began to change. Why? Because the congregation began to attend more. Your choirs started to grow more because it wasn't just the average music. Looking for a Miracle was not taught in my church when it first came out. That would have been too popish for the I'll call them the actual religious gatekeepers, which was the pastor, the church mother, maybe even some of the deacons, where you don't come in here playing that kind of music. Now, could I sneak it in? Maybe during an offertory if nobody was really listening, but then I had to keep it simple like this. And by keeping it simple, don't want you to see my back. Let's switch up. By keeping it simple, if I had to sneak it in, I had to put chords around it. I had to mask it by the same chords they would hear when I was playing hymns, or if I was playing the Yes Lord plays. So they heard those chords on the praise songs that they could really get into. So if I wanted to play I'm Looking for a Miracle, and again, using the sight reading, the very same chords they would hear me doing on Glory to His Name. Down at the cross where my Savior. Which is why melody is so important, because you can disguise songs, recognize songs by the melody, and then come off the melody if somebody has recognized it. Again, if I was doing Stevie Wonder's Ribbon in the Sky. Somebody would recognize that right away if I started playing the melodies to that. So I would have to branch off. They wouldn't recognize it without the melody. So what sight reading for the musician gives you a leg up on the other musicians, because you'll be able to now look at any song, see how it was scripted, how it was transcribed, and then go into the next thing that we're going to cover. Let's send this back to the abyss. Yes. Improv. Now, improv is the ability for the pianist to recreate what they're listening to, and I want you to use the term based upon how you feel, because when you're playing music, you're not playing to what you're feeling, you're playing to what you have learned, what you have applied. If I wanted to improv on well, we'll use from the church standpoint, Pentecostal church, they like to sing, well, let's go to, no, I won't use that song. 'cause I've been attacked on using Lord, I lift your name on high. I want to try to get a praise song that I can do improv on. I've used that one already. Let's see. Let's change the key to E flat. Okay. I can't think of the song. Oh, As the Deer. So I know where the song is now, melody-wise, key of E flat. If I wanted to improv on the song of As the Deer, welcome Stephanie, Louisville. Thank you for coming in. Then I would have to hear the song first in my mind the correct way and then improv. Now improv just means you are pulling from what you normally practice. If you practice all the time, if you've practiced all the notes that are in front of you, now improv says, well, gee, what if I wanted to play it like this? Now, I'm just throwing it off the top of my head, just throwing the actual kitchen sink. But improv lets you throw in the kitchen sink and then pull out. E, G. I am now improv. I am taking a known song and while I'm playing, practicing different modes, jazz mode, classical mode. Now again, I'm not a singer, but I can hear the melody in my head, which is why for me, playing melody is so important, because if I hear it in my head correctly, I will play what I'm hearing in my head. But if I don't know it the correct way it goes, my fingers will crash. As the deer panted for the water, so my soul will as the deer. Now, I'm a baritone bass, if you want to know what my range is. You alone, my C major, heart, this fire, but now I hear the changes in my head. So, as a musician, especially a piano player, you get the green light to improv all you want. Not just here, but up here. All the way to the last note and all the way down to the lowest note. If you ever watched a ballad musician play, or I was going to say ballad musician, a bar musician, I think that's the term. They play in a bar. They are all over the place. Now let's take the song Praise Him, put it in the key of D flat. That's improv. I know the song straight, but I'm finding different ways to approach it. Now, do I practice improv all the time? No. If I'm playing a hymn, then I'm going to play straight, and then the next time around, I'm going to do some improv on it. I did and it's on the YouTube channel, what we call a postlude at my last assignment at Galilee United Methodist Church, where I played Trust and Obey, but I started it off with Moonlight Sonata. Let me see. No, that's the wrong key. Now again, I'm not a classical pianist, so I went from improv. And that's where I wanted to end. So I had to start it in a C minor, which is C minor is E flat major. This is improv because I had no sheet music in front of me to guide me. Because I knew that's where I was going to land. Now this is improv. That's all improv. Improv. No. This is improv. And somehow I heard these chords, and because I practiced them. Wow, I forgot what the chord I used there. Now I would have to go back and go to the video to hear those chords that I put there. I'm trying to remember in my head why I went to go to an actual classical style. Now see, I'm gonna be messed up now. I'm gonna have to go back and play my video and figure out why did I go that way. But I was playing if though I was in a single room setting where people were sitting around and just enjoying music, like not a concert hall or a church, but me and the piano becoming one and going whichever direction I felt like going. Now I'm gonna be messed up until I can go and discover what that chord was. There it is. I began to hear it. Resolve it. making it up again. But all that you see me doing, it's a result of practicing and practicing and practicing more, learning as many songs as I could absorb over the years. This is not just 1 year or 2 years, but we're talking 10, 20, 30, 40 years of just absorbing music and not having a mentor to say, oh, that's wrong, oh, that's right. Well, you should learn this style. But listening to so much music that I can hear. Now to hear this chord, there's your tritone, your seventh. Oh, chord, yep, it's not on. So what I want to help the musician who watches me and who takes instruction from me, not teaching but instruction, is to unlock what's inside of you. Again, I often wonder if I had the opportunity to sit with actual professors in music, not your top ones, but the ones who are at the actual beginner level. Ones that would say, okay, you've learned to do this on your own, wipe all of that away. Here's our handing book. Look at our handing book and learn how to do this. Never had handing exercises, but I can hear other people practicing it, and I go, oh, okay, I didn't have that. I had this. Anyway, I'm messing it up because I'm looking at the camera. That's what I had as my handing. I would practice the music I would hear from the Popeye theme music. That's what I would practice, but not just in C, but now I'm fighting with the fingering because I learned it with the wrong fingering, but I practiced it so that I can go to any key and do it in any key I wanted to. So I didn't have a formal teacher to tell me that's not what you should be practicing, but I knew I had to have something that I enjoyed hearing that I could go and use as a practice, and not just one hand. Both hands had to be able to be in sync. And I had to be able to improv on it. And if I wanted to chord around it, left hand and right hand melody, I would practice that also in every key because I wanted to test and to challenge myself. This improv thing lets you pull. Let me see. There was a time in church where some musicians wanted to uh, spice up the shout, so they would use the Muffet shout. Let me pull up. I'm going to demonstrate the Muffet shout. The Muffet. I'm pulling up my. Let's see if it comes up here. Okay, let me change my screen to where the iPad is attached. The Muffet shout. Ah, there it is. The Muffet shout. Because they were getting tired of the basic stuff. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Bum, bum, bum. Ah, boy, I haven't done this in so long. Bum, bum. Bum. Da, da, da. Boom, boom. Diminish. Da, 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 da. Boom, boom, boom. So we musicians back then, we didn't care because people got with whatever we were doing. Because most people couldn't catch on that we would no, did I do that? No, because I was on the piano back then, but I needed to keep up, so I had to hear the Muffet shot. So again, it's improv. That's what that is. You are just improving, using the ability to improv in the moment that you happen to be in. So where do you go? Can we hear you play it? You didn't hear me play the Muffet shout? I heard it here. Hold on. You didn't hear the Muffet shout? Let me go back to the page. Okay, sorry about that. As I said, this drops my audio device for some reason without even alerting me that it has happened. Good thing you said something, because I monitor the levels. I didn't monitor when I switched there. Let me speed it up because this is doing a shout. and it's just chording, minor. Boom, boom, boom. Now, of course, the congregation, they got with it. The young people knew what we were doing. The older ones just, oh, we're getting a new praise shout. But we as musicians, that those of us that ventured into the unknown, the world of actual improv, we made the music in the church. It should have just come over now. Let me monitor what I was just doing. 1, 2, 3. Should be coming over. I usually monitor off my iPad, but I had to swap over to get to use the rhythm track. Okay, you did hear it. Good, good. But that's, again, that's that improv spirit that a piano player needs to add to their practice regimen, where you're going to go beyond just the norm. Welcome, Demo, and thank you for making me aware that you didn't hear. To where, why won't this thing? I'm trying to link up my iPad so I could get a good monitoring. To where when you envision in your mind what you want to play, how you want to play it, and you execute it in your practice session, when you go to now pull it out, as they say, get that opportunity to show your wares, you are adequately prepared. Now, I was messed up the first 2 times of doing it because I haven't played it in so long. But once I got comfortable, I began to feel more comfortable. Chromatic scales. Not chromatic, but pentatonic. And I forget what the other one was that we used to do. But the improv of a church pianist is that this is when you release yourself from practicing what you need to practice. Now again, not having an actual structure forced upon me that you must practice this, or the hand. I was free to go anywhere I wanted to go. If I wanted to do what's that other cartoon I used to do? Pink Panther. What key? 2, 3, 4. I didn't know anything about E minor. I just knew when I would listen to the Pink Panther on the cartoons, I'd go to the piano and try to figure out. There we go. Chromatic. Now, did I try that in a church service? No, that was in my own practice time. What key? Here's the chord. Now, you may not know anything about the Pink Panther or Inspector Gadget. Inspector Gadget was Go-Go Gadget. I forgot. Inspector Gadget. These are the tunes that I would recognize. Welcome, Dimitri. I would hear in my head and go to the piano and try to figure out where those notes are. So I knew where the low notes were and where the notes in the middle were and where the high notes were, and I just had to go and figure out, well, how musically can I play those? That's part of improv, where you're absorbing everything. Yes, I know the church wants you to sound like you're playing to the heavens, but we're down here, which means absorb what's around you. Yes, and there's so much music out there now for you to absorb. Where do you start? Well, I always tell musicians, start off with theory, because you're going to find out that everything you hear is built off the theory of music. And the piano player is where that music is, where it starts at. So when I had to learn this song, He's the One, I forget the name of the choir, but those chords came back to me. The minor, the here, became a lot easier for me to learn in D minor, or you might well call it G major, because they use the same notes. Everything went well. Let's say we did that. Okay, well that's good. I'm sorry that I'm not tailored towards every style of music. I realize that my audience has to be the church musician first. Perhaps somewhere in 2026, as I look to evolve this channel, or perhaps start a new channel, I may focus on the different, when there's so many other channels out there. I realize there's some content creators that have 2 channels. I actually do have a second channel. I don't frequent it much. It's in my name, but perhaps I may use that channel and take a different direction in what I've been doing in music instruction. But there's so many other channels out there. Again, I'm learning music that I've never played before from other channels. So sorry I was unable to assist you with the Morris Day and the Cool song. But like anything else, it is just music, and it's the same application, whatever you do in gospel, same application in jazz. It's just where they're placing the chords and what kind of bass notes that they're putting underneath it. But when you start to get into the world of improv, you will borrow, which is what a lot of the contemporary gospel did. Began to the R&B chords. And in the sense of Kirk Franklin, he just has his own. He borrows from that. So as you can see, the Kirk Franklin chords revolve around a particular mode. And once you learn that mode, it becomes easy to learn his style of music. And that is still about improv. Dimitri, I am certain that you will have no problem finding the chords to any song of this type. Gospel music is the only type of music that I've been able to recognize that takes you around the world just to get a musical presentation out. Every other song does not take you around the world. They'll take you here, they'll take you here, they'll take you here, and then they'll revolve it, and then they'll take you back. They'll take you here, they'll take you here, and then they'll take you here again. If anything, they may change key, but it's the same thing. Gospel music has you going. So you'll have no problem applying the basic theory to those songs in the key that they're in. And if you play the scale, you'll find the chords, because most R&B chords are based on the scale. Very rarely do they go out of the scale. And if they do, it's half a note up or half a note down. And the actual chord is right there. So the improv mantra, where the musician begins to look at what they want to play versus upon what they have to play. That's when you can morph yourself into the improv. What do we got here? Improv. Develop your ability to improvise during worship. So how much improvising can you do if you're doing a praise song that has 4 chords? If the song is in, we'll put it in a key that I won't offend YouTubers. No, I can't even go there. Every time I do this, I get a copyright notification that I'm stealing somebody's song. I go to B major. If this is going to be the 6, and they're going to go to the 4, and they're going to go to the 1, and then they go to the 5, which is the G flat or F sharp. So if you're going to improv on just those chords, all you're going to do is change a pattern. E flat. And all I'm doing is looking at what are the available notes, chords, patterns that I can borrow from. I'm looking at the circle of 4s to see what can I use. If I want to get to this 6, then I know I need to have a D. Why? 1, 2, 3, 4, D, E flat rather. If I know I want to get to the E, I need a B. If I know I want to get to the F sharp, I know I need a D flat or C sharp. Right? And now if I'm going back to the E minor, which is an F, G flat minor, I need another D. And I can walk it up, which is improv. Now I'm improving again. I am using extended chords. Welcome, Robert. Extending chords, and all extended chords are, you are adding more chords to whatever progression or passing tones that you're using. That is as single as you can get, single notes. The minute you begin to add chords, you are extending those single notes. I'm extending them out. Anytime I add with the sustain pedal additional notes, it is extending them out further than where they are. That is their basic root, the natural chord system. But now I'm extending it out. And as you practice more chords, you will be able to find the chords that you can associate with where you want to go chord-wise, which is another part of actual improv. You're going outside of your norm. was learning a song for one of my Patreon members. What was that song? What was that song I was doing? It's from Tremaine Hawkins. Let me see if I can. Because it had a circle of fourths. Our God, that it? No, that's not it. That was somebody else. It's not that song. What was that song I broke down? Let me see if I can find the person that asked for it. Was this the person that asked for it? Yes, I think it was. Nope, that's not. Again, because I do so many requests, I wash songs out of my mind so I can go to the next song, so I don't keep it in my memory banks. Why can't I find what that song was? Give me a second. Let me go into my history. I'm sure I'll find it in my YouTube history. Because I can touch on it a little bit here. Oh, When You Pray. Ah! E flat? No. Here's the chain. Just in my learning that song and learning that movement right there, I had to rethink my head. Okay, what's happening? What are they doing? Where are they going? How are they getting to from D flat into the D flat, A flat or the sixth, and then they're going to straight into a circle of four. E flat, A flat to the D flat. And resolve. The type of music that was very, very, very prevalent in my era made you have to think. You couldn't just lock yourself into a chord pattern, certain chords, and then every time you come around to it, it's always going to be the same chord. You had to open your mind into the world of the actual improv. And yes, this skill enhances the overall worship experience, because you can lull a congregation to sleep with just going with 9 chords. You can lull them to sleep. But the minute you go to improv, which is what we covered in our book, the 7-3 to get to the 6. And that comes from practicing. Now, I know I do talk a lot and I do demonstrate a lot, and but my intent is to give instruction also. So let's change back to this page with the key of C. I'll go down to C. And the instruction part of this is when you're watching my hands and you see my fingers moving across. Is there a rhyme or reason why I have this and not this? Because this is more comfortable for me. Improv is finding the more comfortable way to get across what you're hearing. If that's what I want to hear, bottom. And that's what I want to hear, which means I have to assign my eyes to where on the piano I want to go, because I have used my sight. Once I hit that note, now I can reassign these chords. B major, C, D flat, E flat, E flat, E, F, F sharp, or A, G flat, G, A flat, A, B flat, B, C. As I call out in my mind where I want to be, my hands are now forming the chords. Roll it. Down, up, down, up, down, up. The octave thing for me is pinky, thumb, the fingers in between now find the notes. When I do the roll. The improv nature is that you're going to be thinking while you're playing. Now, I'm not sure what happens in churches nowadays after the praise and worship team sits down. I know the musicians play the talk music where they're just going down scales in broken drop 2, and they go up, and they come back up, they go down, then they go up. They're just finding their path, or they are improving on what they want the talk music to be. They'll hold a note, there we go. Which is all improv. Talk music is improv. You're not following a script. You're not looking at chords on a sheet of paper unless you've written out your own set of chords. Nothing says go drop 2, but your head, mine does. Go to the A flat, go to B flat, go back to D flat, go back to B flat, take it down to F, G, D, G, take it down here, down here, down here, down here, down here, down here, stay up. Walk it up, walk it up, walk it up, walk it up, walk it up. We're following the circle of 4. 1, come back to C. Now that is an exercise I would do just to keep my ears and my hands busy, or the backward way. And there you go. Same path, just a shortcut. C, F, B flat, down, 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 down. I've covered all the circular fourths by keeping things condensed. Or the walk-up way. There we go. You'll find different ways to improv. Demo, I am not taking viewer requests. I'm trying to keep this where we at time-wise. I'm supposed to be monitoring this, and it looks like I changed from my page. Oh, here we go again. I can't get my mouse to, there it is. There we go. Oh, we're at the hour mark. The hour mark, which is good. The improvisation of the piano player is one of the more sweet spots of music that you can be in the church, which is why you find a lot of musicians will layer the actual piano sound to fatten up. Now, I'm not a fan of the layered piano. I like to hear the actual true nature of the piano sound, but I can understand why you want to layer it. There's this creating an atmosphere type of thing. If I'm going into my piano and use the layer which they have assigned to it, you get this. Let's see if I can find, there it is. But that's the assigned layer to it. I guess it does invoke a whole different sense of what you're hearing in your head. But that wouldn't be a particular voice that I would want to pick for a layered sound. I would go more into, let's see, scroll over to pads, because I have done this already and still will not be able to find something that I would like. Warm pad. Because all it's doing, it is extending my chords past where they would normally naturally be for a piano. That's the layered sound, which fits in if you're in an actual R&B jazz mode. That's where the layered sound for me makes sense in an actual jazz or a different mode. I like straight sound. But again, it's dependent upon the era musically what you actually come up with. And again, I'm not I'm not dissing those who do layer their keyboards. You do whatever you need to do to create an atmosphere of music around those who are your audience, and those are the people around that were listening. In fact, you're the audience of one first. You hear it first. If it's because your instrument is generally closer to you. Like I've got these headphones on. I don't use the amplification that I have around here. I got some excellent speakers and an excellent amplifier. I wear the headphones because that's as close to the sound what's in the keyboard that I can hear versus having to go through cables, going through an amplifier, going through a mixer, and then going into powered speakers bouncing off the walls. I hear it as pure as I possibly can right here, so I'll hear the mistake before anyone else will. If I hit a wrong note, because I wear headphones when I play and when I practice, I'll hear it first. And when I'm giving a breakdown of a song, I'll have the music playing through the headphones, but I'll have the piano just enough in the back so I can hear what change did they make. Did they go here or did they go here? Which means, can I hear this? Or was it here? Did this go down? Did that go up? That's how sensitive I try to keep my ears, not having a loud amplifier to dull them. Even at the age where I am right now, I like to think I can still hear an ant crawling on its belly across the floor, because I try to listen to everything. I'm looking at where I want to go. Just playing chords, just seeing where the chords are, where do I want to land on my chords, the actual progressions, the actual passing tones, how do I want to approach it. All that goes on in the actual world of improv. Now, can you improv while you're playing in a band in your church? If you're locking into a particular song that the band is playing, yes. But if you're going to do it on your own, you may get frowns on your face in today. In my era, it was just me. So if I wanted to do improv on a song, there was no one to look at me strange. And of course, the music was a lot different than what you guys and gals are now challenged with to do today, where it may not leave space for improv. But the church pianist needs to be free to do the improv. As you can see, I'm jumping across the keyboard, but I'm syncing both my hands together. The training of your hands is the number one thing that you're going to have to really spend a lot of time on, so that you can improv anytime you want in any key you happen to be in. I can think E major right now and go right to E major, do the scale the way I want to do it, either major or minor, and do chords. That's what I wanted to accomplish. There it is. F, G flat, G, A flat. So if your church is still doing testimony service, that is one of the greatest times that you can improv while you are doing your playing. I want to thank those who are still watching. I see we have 11 who are watching, and those who are watching on the Facebook channel. The church pianist is a godsend to the music world, because the pianist can play solo and start a song. It can play in the middle of a song when all the music stops, and then it can end a song either down here or up here. But your ability to manipulate the notes is what's really very, very paramount, because you have to hear it before you play it. High. And then improv with the arpeggio. And execute to the point where you have performed at the level of your experience, of your practice, of your preparation. I'm going to bring this part of the 10 things, and let me switch up on my camera. There we go. Of the 10 things that church pianists should practice, what you want to be able to do is to accomplish musically what you have practiced, what you have heard at that moment. Sometimes you get locked into following a pattern, and a pattern is good. It keeps you from going astray. But when you begin to improv, that means that you're going to be, I'm listening to myself on the iPad to make sure that I'm being heard. It means that you are ready to venture out as far as you can, and then musically bring yourself back in. Are there any questions to those who are watching me? Again, I'm not taking viewer requests. It's still early here on a Saturday, so I may come back, and I know it's a 30-second delay if you're typing in. So I'm going to look at and see, while I'm waiting for someone to type in a question, what's left on my viewer request list, and I may come back later on this evening, and we can have a session with viewer requests, and I can take some live. Let's see. Did I do that one? Yes, that's done. That's done. That's done. I'm looking at the ones that are actually done. I put up 5 videos, viewer request videos, yesterday. So as you see, I haven't forgotten about you. Once I got the latest magazine done, I was able to jump right back into all those songs. I've got something by Donald Lawrence. Did I do that one? I think I did. I think I did do that one. I don't see any questions coming up. And let me check on the current comments to see what may have come in while I've been live. Right Now by Donald Lawrence. Okay, that's a new one. So I may look at Right Now by Donald Lawrence later this evening. And let's see what else is new on the list. Again, I caught up to a lot of viewer requests. Right Time by Lisa Knowles. Yes, that was an up-tempo song, which was more, I'll call it a quartet quartet congregation type of song. I may do that one because the chords followed. I think that song, the chords follow the 1 and the 4. Yes, I think I did do Gotta Make It. Well, actually, no, I did that one for someone else. That one directly to the viewer. Okay. All right, so we'll come back. I don't see any questions. Verify that. Oh, here we go. There are some questions. Hey, Shonda, I'm working on top music. Would you have covered what something a little more simple? I'm working on top music. Would you have covered but what something a little more simpler? Oh, talk music. Oh, talk music. Let me, because that's talk music is also improv. Let me switch. In fact, let me do this. 1 second. I'm gonna take a sip of some soda. Talk music is an art form. And as I listen to other content creators who feature people who are showing talk music, I'm trying to find a commonality between them. Who are they listening to, or are they just playing whatever's going on in their head right at that moment? I hear a lot of drop two. I hear a lot of chord changing to continue drop two chords. Now, drop two is the format of 1, 2, 3, and you're dropping that note down here. And most times they're doing it on the organ, so they have the assistance of having an actual bass note to help support it. But you can do, top drop two music on the piano with a lower note just as well as you can do on an organ. You just put it here, and they just follow it down. And hold. So you're going down 2. 1. Then they'll switch and I'll go. And they'll come back up. So I'll then go to the here and resolve it. It's all about, and strangely enough, they are using scale notes, which is very important when you're playing chords, because you have to be able to associate what you want to do. Now you can go up. See, dun, 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 dun. Drop 2 still, but I am picking different patterns. Now, generally, you need someone talking while you hear me conversing, while I'm just figuring out which direction do I want to go. Talk music is a dead space filler. You never want to have someone talking and then they pause to catch their breath or to think of a thought and you have dead air. That's why when you listen to on the radio, they can't have dead air where you had this white noise. Can't have that. So talk music was introduced so that the service doesn't just become stagnant because they're waiting on someone to read from a piece of paper, or they are thinking of their thoughts and there's nothing happening. So what happens is that you will modulate every now and then and bring it down. As you can see, I just switched as I was going down. No rhyme. No rhyme or reason. Letting my melody but associating a chord with it. Let's see. Change. Change here. No, B flat. Drop two. Say drop, drop two, drop two. Okay, go down here. Switch. There we go. And it doesn't always have to be drop two. I'm just using it as an example. It's how I've heard other musicians approach it. Because I'm trying to discover a pattern that I can link them all together. It seems to be by musician who has practiced their own style, and most times they'll use the same approach when they're playing it. And sometimes some of the guys who you watch on YouTube who are demonstrating it, they may only show you what they want to show you. Sunday morning they may do something totally different. If you want to use the number system progressions as a beginning guide, you can go to the 1, and you go to the 2, 3, 4, 6, 2, 5, and just repeat it. 2, 3, 4, 6, 2, 5, and raise your key to half a step. 2, 3, 7, 8, and raise it again. And go to another key. And all the while that you are finding a progression, you improv. Six, 2, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 2, 5. A flat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 5, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 1. To the 1. So you can create your own pattern, maybe write it out on a piece of paper and try it out. Just get the scales and assign the chords. I developed a pattern, and I'm just finding ways to improv around it. I haven't been in E major. And all this music tree that I'm doing, Those are just jazz moves. Because I practice both hands that particular run for whenever I want to pull it out, it becomes a lot easier to just apply it to what I'm doing. For Every Mountain is a good song for talk music. Good talk music chords. 1, 5, 1. Let me see, 4. Oh, we could key of F, 4. Flat the sharp to 6. To the 7. To the 2, no, 3. To the 1, no, 6 major. Sharp to 2, to the 2, 7, 3, 6. We're going to flat the 7. Sharp to 7, or rather 7. And flat the 6. The 6, 3, and I believe I did do For Every Mountain as an actual lesson. But yes, you could use For Every Mountain chords, not the song, but just the chords too, as for talk music. It's kind of on the classical end. Change key. There it is. Pick a song that you like, as always, and improv on that song. In fact, if you have do you have a favorite hymn? I'll do it like that. Do you have, this is for Shonda. Do you have a favorite hymn that if you're going to play a solo, this is the song you're going to pick? I'll give you a little time to put it in because it takes 30 seconds for any response to come to me. Because a hymn is, for me, would be the optimum talk music, because it can become recognizable to someone listening to it. What a Friend We Have in Jesus in G flat. if I was going to do talk music to that. No melody, just chords. It's going on in my head. D, E flat major, A flat. I didn't see a response from you, Shonda, but that's what you could do. Pick a hymn. Don't play the hymn melody-wise, but chord around the actual structure of the song. What would be another good song? Great is Thy Faithfulness. Do you want to chord around that one? B flat. No. That's the chord I wanted. G flat. No, E flat. I'm in a different key. I'm in A flat. In F. Great is soulness. Drop toot. B flat major. B flat 7, and take us to G flat. All I have needed, I have had. Oh, a 4. And I am making this up as I'm going. Six, 2, 5, 1, 4, sharp the 4, 3, 7, 3, 6, flat 7, 5, diminished chord, da 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 bum. Again, when the mind starts to roll, the hands have to be able to improvise on the improv. All right, so I've been having some fun. But thank you, Shonda, for that question. Yes, find a song that is familiar to you, and then begin to improv on the chords. Don't lock yourself into how the song sounds, but open yourselves up to what potential chords can you put around it. Because talk music is not supposed to be a sing-along. It's supposed to be a nice, how can I put it? A bed of music for talk to ride upon, so that if the speaker needs to take a breath, that music will not allow there to be dead space. And that's when you would, if something is said that requires a pause or a accolades of people going, clapping hands, and you can raise the volume just so much and then bring it back down so that the talking can continue. Again, thank you all for killing time with me again. 1 minute and 44 seconds. So I'm doing good. I'm still cutting up the previous video on chord progressions. It was 5 hours long, so I'm cutting it into 15 to 20 minute segments for those who want to get an actual synopsis of what we're covering. This is not what I call a 3-day look at 10 things. We've gotten to numbers 4 and 5. We still have playing by ear coming next, and that's going to be a very telling presentation. In my head, I'm already figuring out how I want to approach playing by ear. We may play some things in the background and see how well, and test your ear. I'll test it, do it live, as they say. Test your ear for those who will be on live. And I want to try to see if you can hear, as the song says, what I can hear. Sam Tober, Sound of Joy Music Services. Make a joyful noise unto the Lord. As you can see, we do have a workbook, another workbook, but a reference guide for musicians to be able to have a reference. And yes, I do charge for this, but it's a minimal price of $5. There are 22 pages, I believe, of information in the book. I may or may not do a video on what's covered. You know what? I have you here, and I may as well let me do that. Why don't I just let you see what's in that booklet? Give me a chance to clean things up here. Let's put things away. And let's bring up that workbook, because you need to know that I have the musician at heart. Okay, there's the workbook. Let's do this. Just very quickly, I'll let you get a snapshot of what was put together for the members here at the Sound of Joy and those who are members of the Patreon group. Patreon members have access to this book and the previous one. Give me a chance to capture this window. I'm going to go through it very quickly just so that you know what it is that what has been prepared for you. Let's clean this up. So this is page 1 of the workbook. And I made it just like that to be able to, you could download it and put it on your phone and take it with you. No table of contents, but you are getting an actual introduction. And I did a lot more theory talk in here so that you will get a well-rounded understanding of chords and progressions. How scales become chords. You hear me talk about scales all the time. I made sure I put some information in there. And I gave you there's a couple of them in here. Quotes. Playing piano chords is like cooking. Sometimes you get a masterpiece, and sometimes you burn the kitchen down. I try to keep everything in there light. Then you get tips for applying theory along with some piano scales, because you got to have information. You need to have, the more you know, the further you can go. This is when I begin to break down the 1, 4, 5 chords, and I give you images of what those chords look like so that you will know as you hear them and you play them. Let's just cover me up a little bit. What they sound like. This is what is in that book. And I'm going to go right through these real quick. As you can see, I cover quite a few chord patterns. You get the modes of the major scale. You get some more tips for playing R&B. Yes, I do cover R&B. Why? Because you'll find a lot of our songs cross over into the R&B experience. So you're going to get the R&B chords patterns, more information. This is what comes in the book, R&B chord patterns. Actually, these are the chords from the 70s, I believe. Yes, from the 70s, when crossover music began to happen. These are the chords that are in a lot of the songs from the 70s. The chords you hear me play are in here. The different progression name, just going right through it. You get another quip for me. Why did the piano chord cross the road? To get to the dominant side. Yes, I like to keep things light. More chords, more chords. You get a tip for playing with a gospel feel. Again, more. And then a chord progression chart. And I covered the keys which are prominent in gospel music and that you would hear in your church. And you're getting the 251, this is 251 chords. The chords I use, of course you see me playing, and then the key of A flat, you're now getting additional chords. Then the infamous 1736 chord phrasing, and you're getting all of these chords also, just so that you can have a reference library to go to. These are the chords I play. And I believe that is the last page. And this is available for those who are not a Patreon member, where you would get it for your monthly membership fee for being a Patreon member. I give everything free to the Patreon members because they are supporting me by the month. But if you would like to purchase this, it is available at our online music store. And not only that one, but our beginner book for church musicians who don't know hymns. 23 hymns are in that booklet, along with the chording and a brief summary of who wrote the song and the era in which they were in when it was written. So I tried to be as comprehensive to church musicians. That's who I tailor 100% of this site to. Yes, I will venture into the R&B sound. Why? Because the R&B sound is also a part of the church sound. So who better to introduce you to the R&B sound than someone who morphed into that sound as he had to learn the more contemporary songs. So, and again, no one is obligated to purchase and to support me. That's not your obligation. But if you're going to support me, I'm going to make sure that you get your money's worth. There is a third book in my head, crossed in between doing sheet music of original songs I've written with the chords I used in those songs, or looking at some of the hymnal songs and giving you written, I figure out how I'm going to write out the chords that I play on those songs. I have a way of doing it. But more information, more theory, more approaches, more of the chords that I use and not the ones that I'm going to just show you. But let me give you the chords that I use, why I would place them in this particular part of the song, and what effect to the listener those chords will have. So Sound of Joy Music Services is about, it has always been about supporting you, the church musician since 1999. Now, I didn't just come out here. I've been out here since the AOL dial-up days. That's when I've been out here. You will find, if you search God Gospels MIDI site, it's still up. He has probably close to 300 or 400 MIDI files there. Probably 80 of those MIDI files are from me when I was flooding the internet back in the 2000s, full of MIDI files to not only support church musicians, but to support churches who didn't have a musician. They could download a MIDI file from the internet, and if they had a MIDI player or keyboard in their church, they could have me there playing hymns and some contemporary gospel songs until either they got a new musician or they allowed me to train them. But I've been the support for the church world. And with that, I will say thank you again. Let me just thank those who have come in. Eric, Louis, Sub-Zero, Stephanie, Demo, Dimitrik, Robert, Shonda, and Athie Williams just came in. Thank you. As always, make a joyful noise unto the Lord. And I'll perhaps see you later on. Maybe give me a chance to get something into me to eat. A little bit of rest, maybe a little, not Madden football, but a little MLB baseball. I've been on an actual winning streak, and then I'll perhaps be back later on tonight. We'll see who can come in, and we'll go over some songs and we'll talk. Perhaps you may have a song that you're asking for. You want me to take a look at for you. All right then. Take care and be blessed. See you later.